Hi guys, this video is going to be pretty informal. So as you know, this is a philosophy channel and I've been meaning to do more philosophy on it for quite a while. And I stumbled upon this video that actually, well, it's short. It does echo the sentiments I've heard from a lot of people when it comes to atheist morality. And so this is just something I wanted to talk about. This guy is called Barak Lurie. He made this short video and I'm just going to respond to it. Then I'll have some discussion.
Because in a world of atheism, where there is no God, there are no morals.
So the first thing I'll point out is that this video is just obviously and blatantly wrong from the first line. I don't know if this is intentional or not. I don't know if this is willful ignorance, but this is something that is just continually frustrating to me, and I'll point out why.
Whatever morals you claim to believe in actually come to you from the olden days, from the Bible itself. It's in the mother's milk of civilization, and you just don't realize it.
If we get our sense of morality from the Bible, then why is it that a lot of these ideas that you claim, in fact, originate from the Christian faith and originally Judaism, how come they predate the Bible? How come they predate these texts? Sometimes by long periods of time. I mean, in my mind, if something predates a text, then it stands to reason that it doesn't come from that text. And also, why is it that a lot of these ideas in the Bible are things that atheists and agnostics and people of other religions just disagree with? You know, if society can come to its own conclusions, some of which are opposed to the Bible and some of which agree with it, it seems to me that something else besides the Bible is actually what's at play there. Maybe these are just more universal human concepts, some of these more broad ideas about morality, and the Bible just happened to contain some of them.
There are no morals in the animal kingdom. That's the way you as an atheist have to believe. Survival of the fittest and all that. But survival of the fittest does not depend on whether you work really hard or whether you share with others. Survival of the fittest is whether you're the strongest and the baddest and manage to manipulate things in such a way that you survive. That's it. So don't tell me you as an atheist have morals.
This is something else that a lot of people who don't understand the theory of evolution don't understand. And I'm not saying that I'm an expert in the theory of evolution, I'm not. But this idea that there is no morality in nature, I mean, this is just sort of a biological thing. I mean, all through nature we see what we would call altruism in the animal kingdom, especially with parents and children. I mean, that makes evolutionary sense. There's this sort of notion that survival of the fittest means that the biggest and the baddest, as you say, will survive, or the toughest and the meanest. And I think people really misunderstand this because fittest, specifically, the term fitness, it refers to the most well-adapted, the most fit for that environment. So in some cases in the animal kingdom, the most fit animal might indeed be the biggest and the baddest, or the meanest and the toughest. But in some scenarios, the most fit animal, or the most fit group, is going to be the one that is the most altruistic toward each other. And for human beings, I mean, how do you think society would be if no one ever tried to help each other? If our base instinct was just, we're never going to work together, we're never going to cooperate, we're not going to work with our family to try to make our own survival good, that species probably wouldn't last as long, don't you think? Helping out and living harmoniously can be tremendously beneficial to a species. So by those measures, yes, morality does exist in nature. And it's also not just what we believe. It's not like evolution is just like an atheist belief system. Lots of religious people embrace the theory of evolution with open arms. It's not just something that we believe as atheists. We didn't come up with evolution to justify our beliefs. This is something that is a fact that you can observe with the scientific method, and which is not exclusively believed by irreligious people. There's also a huge glaring assumption built into this framing which I need to address, and that is the assumption that atheists for some reason need to base their system of ethics around the theory of evolution just because the theory of evolution is a fact. I mean, that's not true at all. We have our own sense of empathy, we have reasoning, we care for one another. There are all kinds of things around which we can base our system of ethics. And that doesn't need to be the theory of evolution just because the theory of evolution is a fact. In fact, I would strongly advise against building your system of ethics around the theory of evolution and around natural selection. That doesn't make any sense to me, and there's no reason why we would need to do that.
At best, what you have is agreed upon rules that you think are logical, but can change from day to day. That is not morality. Morality is the notion that we all have to believe in the same set of beliefs, the same core principles. There are no morals without God.
So there's a lot to break down in this last point here. But first of all, I want to say that you distinguishing morality from anything that can change day to day is really not correct, I don't think. And first I'm going to bring up the definition here from Google about what morality is. It says, principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. So right off the bat, morality is not actually something where we all have to share the same strict ideas about what is right or wrong. Morality is about what you believe is right or wrong. So even if that changes every single day, that's still morality. But I don't want to rely on this sort of definition-ism that can cloud a lot of these debates. When you say the word morality, the concept that you're referring to is, in fact, this sort of good and bad and right and wrong and ethics. And for you and your belief system, that means I have to follow a strict code and it can never change ever. For other people, they might not have that same specific code. So again, this is all, even conceptually, not correct. And the second point is, who are you talking to where their ethics change from day to day? Either you're being hyperbolic or completely misunderstanding what people talk about when they're talking about secular ethics. Because I believe that scenarios change. I think different values have hierarchy for a lot of people who have secular morality, and the scenarios that they apply those to might change from day to day, so that what you might do from day to day doesn't always equal the same thing depending on the inputs of what scenario you're dealing with. But that doesn't mean that they wake up one day thinking that killing is okay, and then they wake up the next day thinking that killing is not okay. I don't think that's what's happening. I think you're misunderstanding hierarchy and values and how they apply to actions there. It's clearly not the case that there's no morality without God. I mean, that's just silly. Atheists might not follow a strict code that you follow, but that doesn't mean they're not moral. Some atheists might have a different code that they follow, but even that would be classified as morality. The things that we would generally call good as a society, protecting people's well-being, standing up for the downtrodden, those sorts of things, fairness, equality, things that you've mentioned in this video. I mean, atheists clearly are capable of that kind of goodness. Atheists, I think in general, are good people, with some very unfortunate exceptions to that rule. And people aren't good or bad all the time either. I think if we're going to be honest with each other and live in a fair society, we have to be willing to not paint other people as a bad thing just because they don't believe the same things we do. I think we need to have more honest conversations. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.